Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Detex number PP-5572. This is the -11 version, and the -11 version just simply means that it is operated by key number 11. Okay, this is what that cylinder looks like. It floats like that. Okay, and this is the keyed cylinder for the cover of like an ECL 230D, I think an EAX 300. We'll take a look at that. What is going to be included here will be the nut to hold it onto the back of the, glad it wasn't glass, onto the back of the case. Okay, two original keys. The 11, that's an indirect code that's on there. That would tell the factory what the bidding was on this key. You can order these from change key numbers 11 through 20, I understand. Why would that matter to you if you needed just a replacement? Maybe it doesn't. You might have a need for another lock, and you may want the new lock and its keys to be the same as the one key you still have. Or maybe you've got a building with 10 of these units in it, and you like them to be all keyed alike. You could do that as well. You ought to be able to specify the key number at the time of order if you're ordering a 230D or some other mechanism like that. Let's start with some basic dimensional properties of this item, just to give you a reference point, I suppose. From the underside of the head of the cylinder to the very back of the body, looks like it's about 1 1/8 inches. Okay, the outside diameter of the face of the cylinder looks like it's about 7/8 of an inch. No big deal in that regard. There are 5 apparent cuts on this key, and this is what we would call a disc or wafer tumbler type lock, is what this is. These little protruding items that are there that will be pulled back into the housing as I insert the key are the disc or wafer tumblers. Those wafer tumblers, not a wafer, forgive me. Let's call it a disc tumbler. Wafer is a reference to a Schlage type of lock, a wafer tumbler lock. Let's call it a disc tumbler lock. They are pieces of rectangular metal that are held captive inside of the plug and have rectangular preparations in them. And the difference between those different rectangular preparations is the size, which is directly related to the cut on the key blank, or how this key is cut. That's what allows this to work. There are wafer tumblers, disc tumblers like this, pin tumblers, lever tumblers, different types of construction of locks is what I'm referring to. Okay, and this would be considered quite low security, extremely low security in fact, but nonetheless, all this is really covering is, or keeping secured, is the cover on the lock itself. You have this key to prevent someone from removing the cover. Now, why would you need to purchase this cylinder? Let's take a look at that question now. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Why would you order this cylinder? Well, it's very likely that you need a replacement. The replacement need is probably from the fact that someone's lost the keys, and in order to service the unit, change the battery, someone's drilled that cylinder out and made a mess of it. I've had a client one time call, and I answer the phone, and I can hear the alarm in the background before any conversation starts. And I've got an idea of what's happening. If that's in the background and I'm getting called, I know what's happening. They've lost the key to remove the cover. They don't have the key to turn the alarm off. So they have a restaurant full of lunchtime, patrons, and as you can expect, it was less than ideal, the panic the client was in. One way or another, they ripped that cover off. By the time I got there, they ripped the cover off and pulled the battery out. In fact, just started pulling everything. The unit was destroyed by the time he was done disabling the audible alarm, the 100 decibel alarm. So be mindful. Keys are important. You probably want to keep tabs on these as best you can, but if you don't, you've inherited something without keys, a locksmith could easily pick that open. As far as I'm concerned, if a person's titling themselves locksmith, bypassing the cylinder ought to be a relatively easy endeavor. This will allow you to unthread that, pull the cover off, service the unit. You don't want to lose the key that operates the bypass either. That was the client's first problem. He couldn't turn the alarm off because he didn't have the key. Couldn't get the cover off because he didn't have the key, and then resorted to means of destructive bypass is what he did. So let's switch to the screen view now. Let's take a closer look at the supporting information. Here is the item that we are looking at. We have some images here. That shows everything you're going to get with the 11 on the face of the plug. The cylinder itself up close with a side view. With the cylinder pushed into its housing. The front view of the cylinder face. The back view showing where that threads onto the spindle. If you're familiar with Simplex, Kaba, Ilco, Unican type locks, they have a similar principle on the back escutcheon plate. The threaded nut to hold it on, and then your 2 original keys. There's a link here below this video to the manufacturer's page, and when you click on that, you can pull up not only all of the Detex products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation as seen here, but also a link to the website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Now in the full product catalog, there's not much to see here at all in terms of this cylinder. And that's not unusual. A lot of accessory parts you're not going to find in the general product catalog, but you'll usually find those in the price list. And I happen to know that this lock works with the ECL 230D and other items. So just looking in the catalog for that, you know, we can pull up an ECL 230D. There's your little cylinder there. That's the cylinder for the alarm bypass. Reset, bypass, things of that nature. Now the price list is there, and when we have the price list pulled up, we can do a find function on our keyboard for the part number, which I've copied. Control F. You'll get to the PP-5572 replacement cover lock and 2 keys. Replacement cover lock key only. Changes 11 through 20, or what they are. If you're a locksmith, if you're someone who needs to work, who ends up working on these, you can order a set of a range of their test keys, so you can determine which it is without having to pick it open. That'd be pretty handy to have there. But that's the only reference of the PP-5572 in printed literature from the manufacturer. Suffice it to say, this 419-page catalog is all things Detex as it pertains to egress control locking hardware. Lots of different variants. They're a relatively, not relatively, they're a unique company in the sense that they have a product line that others don't have. While they make products that other people do, the name Detex is pretty synonymous with the type of device, which is indeed the ECL 230D. You'll have clients come in and say, I need a Detex, and you know what they mean. Detex makes 419 pages of different items, but if they say they need a Detex, they're probably referring right to this. Okay, delayed egress they get into a lot as well. Magnetic locks with exit devices, request to exit switches, so on and so forth. Let's wrap up this video on camera. In conclusion, the name Detex is synonymous not only with that ECL 230D, and it's not unusual actually to sell these replacement cylinders. Generally, you know, their destructive means of bypass is what's employed when they can't get it off the door, the cover that is. It's also, the name Detex is also synonymous with excellent tech support. I've contacted those folks many times over the years, decades in fact, and they've always been extremely responsive, extremely spot on with their expert command over the subject matter, and to them I say thank you very much. If you have any questions on the Detex, this is their part number PP-5572-11, replacement cover lock set, or any other Detex product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.